Scott Frost and Rich Rodriguez were supposed to be the saviors for these programs. Both have struggled. Could it get a little nasty on the field Saturday because these teams need to win?
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're doing a crossover with one of my very favorite people in the space. So thank you guys so much for being here. Before we do, we got to mention the FanDuel, obviously, who we love. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Make sure you download the FanDuel app today to get started. But let's dive into this, man. I'm obviously going to make this introduction for somebody that I've been on his show a couple times. We've done a couple crossovers that he's led on, and I've always admired him from across. So I'm going to bring this dude on. Mad respect to legendary podcaster Mike Gittens, who also does an Auburn show that's just completely – I mean, you make a living just off that one in and of itself, and now you've got the UCF show that's growing like crazy, man. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Look, we're at the midway point of the college football season, Paul, and I can tell you that this is the time of year where everyone understands who they are as a football team. So not a lot of teams are going to be something different from here on in. Now, last year, we've seen teams go on epic runs over the back half of their seasons in the Big 12 last year. Baylor did it, right?
Yeah.
Could West Virginia or UCF pull something off similar over the back half of the season? It's going to start this week. Both teams winless in Big 12 play. Somebody's still going to be winless when this is all said and done, and somebody's going to have their first win. So I'm looking forward to the game on Saturday.
You know, it's crazy how the year started for both these programs because both reached back into the past and pulled a legendary coach from the past that had been not just successful, but the most successful coach that you've ever had. Maybe you could argue Don Nehlen in West Virginia's case for West Virginia, but Rich Rodriguez right there with him. Obviously, Nehlen went to the national championship game, but I digress. And Scott Frost to come back and resurrect these programs. And obviously, West Virginia does have a Pitt win to hang its hat on, which we're really happy about, a game that went to overtime. And the schedule has done West Virginia no favors, Mike. You had to, after the Pitt win in overtime, go play a Kansas team on the road after they're coming out of their bye. Then you play Utah, and then you play BYU. It's been a murderer's row for the Mountaineers, and I'm curious for UCF. Definitely have played the same strength of schedule, but they've certainly looked a lot more consistent than the Mountaineers this year.
Yeah, look, it was a very, very soft start to the schedule for UCF. You open up Jacksonville State, North Carolina A&T, which is actually absolutely awful. Their coach came out and said, yeah, I'm not sure if this game was worth it. All their quarterbacks got hurt. And then you played Bill Belichick's North Carolina.
Which was a big game at the time.
Yeah, it was. And before the season, not a lot of folks gave UCF a chance in that one. They dominated that game.
Dominated.
34-9. But, you know, to our credit, over at Locked On UCF, my show guests James Duncan and Andrew Glucope, I mean, we were pretty adamant that we felt like they would dominate North Carolina, and they did. And then you open up Big 12 play versus Kansas State, who is 1-3 at the time.
Yeah.
But they're better than their
They've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, they are better than their record suggests. And you play tough, but you ultimately lose that game 34-20. You have heartbreaker the next week versus Kansas, a 27-20. And then another tough game versus a Cincinnati team that you lose 20-11. This is a rebuild year. And in
Cincinnati's really good.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think defensively UCF has shown up in all these ball games.
Right.
But when you cannot sustain drives, eventually your defense breaks late in games, especially when you're losing time of possession. And it's tough, right? Like, I think that UCF has a good foundation to build on. Funny stat about that Cincinnati game. Do you know UCF won time of possession in that game 40 minutes to 20?
So I mean, Cincinnati was scoring fast? No, I'm just kidding. It was 20-11, so it couldn't have been.
Yeah, they held the ball for 20 more minutes in
just
that
not
game.
Finishing off drives.
Yeah, and they held since listen to these stats. Defensively, they limited them to 20 minutes and 16 seconds of offensive possession. They only allowed Cincinnati to convert 2 of 9 on third down, and they gave up only 306 yards of total offense, and they lost that game by 9 points.
That's pretty wild.
Crazy.
I mean,
right?
It's hard to do that. You probably couldn't replicate that if you tried.
Yeah.
If you tried.
The defense is giving them a shot, but offensively, they've still got a lot of work to do. And I think that this is a quarterback's game in today's college football. And in year one, you don't have your quarterback.
Yeah.
Going into the season, he kind of said that the quarterback battle might go into the first couple games, and that's number one sign to me that you don't have a quarterback. But they do have 2 guys who have played well at times, but the consistency is not there. So we expected Cam Fancher was going to start this game versus West Virginia this weekend. The availability report came out as it does every evening, I think at 10 p.m. Eastern.
10 p.m., yeah.
Yeah, and Fancher's on it. And
we had a similar thing.
Well, you've got 2 quarterbacks on your out list.
And our big running back that we really thought would be back.
Yeah, so in this game right now, you're right. These 2 teams do kind of like mirror each other in terms of where they're at in rebuilding. But I do feel like UCF is a little bit ahead of where West Virginia is at because the defense is playing well. And I thought that they had the base of talent that they brought over from last year was much better than their 4-8 record suggests.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part. And if you look at the numbers, how many overall players did UCF bring in? Not counting high school. How many portal?
I think it was like 60 players.
So West Virginia closer, higher, right? More. Yeah. They needed more players. And I think, that shows a little bit in the inconsistencies for West Virginia because West Virginia had a coaching change. Obviously, they lost everybody. Both teams lost everybody. But in West Virginia's case, even players they thought were going to stick around after Rich Rod Kane left because of certain positional coaches that decided it was up in the air. Is your offensive line coach going to stay or go? And if he stays, you get to keep this offensive line that he's kind of helped build. That would have been huge for this year, but he didn't. And they all go to – and guess what? The starting Virginia Tech offensive line this year, not saying they've been world beaters, is former West Virginia players, the entire one. So, that would have been nice to have for West Virginia, but they've lost it. I think defensively, West Virginia has some really good players, especially Michael Coates. Jamori Robinson was the American Defensive Player of the Year. He had to sit out with the first 3 games, obviously due to some legal stuff that they were trying to get through the NCAA. But for the most part, this defense played lights out for the first 3 games. They had 12 sacks in the first 3 games, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
And then you play elite offensive line in Utah. You play a very good offensive line in Kansas, and you play another very good offensive line in BYU, and you get no sacks. So, which pass rush is this? Zach Alley blitzes over 50% of the time, 61% of the time. So can you get to the quarterback in this game? Can West Virginia do some things because obviously neither one of these offenses are explosive. UCF is more explosive than West Virginia. But are they scoring a bunch of points? No.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's going to be
very boom or bust. I think it's very boom or bust for UCF.
It's how their offense is built, correct?
Yeah. They'll hit the big play here and there, and especially in the run game as well too. If you look at the averages for UCF running the ball, they look great. But then when you extrapolate the big plays, you see, oh wow, they had that one big run for 80 yards that made the averages look fantastic. But on all the other plays, they were less than 4 yards per carry. It's been about taking advantage. We just recorded another segment on this game today. And Paul, one of the things that I said was, I think for UCF offensively, this is going to come down to whether they can continue to hit those big plays. Can they score from outside the red zone? Can they finish off drives, but also, can Taven Jackson connect with these receivers downfield. They did that well in the first couple games, but then you hit conference play, same as West Virginia, and that's when we find out what the true identity of your football team is, right? Because these guys are going up against like talent and like coaching. So, look, man, both Rich Rod and Scott Frost have a long way to go with these football teams. They're going to be frustrating moments along the way in year one. And what you're looking for in a game like this is you're looking for flashes of whether these coaches can get their teams prepared for the game. Do they look prepared? Is it a good game plan? Do they at least get out the gate fast in the first half, right? And do the players look motivated to go out and play this game? And because I'm telling you, once you get a taste of winning, it can have a very contagious and viral effect.
Change the season.
Yeah. So, you haven't won a Big 12 game yet, but once you get the first one, does that open the floodgates for you? For UCF, I think it's got a really good shot of sending them in the right trajectory.
I agree. I think West Virginia, obviously, we'll talk a little bit more after the break about it, but West Virginia needs this win in a bad way because I think the West Virginia program has just been down. This will be 7 years. And I think getting to a bowl game is going to be important. We'll talk about why, but also some of the players in this game that are going to be tough to match up for West Virginia. We're going to ask Mike about them, the matchups. Who does he think the main matchups in this game? We're going to talk about it all right after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia and UCF crossover is going to be brought to you by Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward, man, with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow with over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. The real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. Join the free Trade Master program today and score some serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use the promo code SHCOLLEGE5 for 5% off your first order. Do it today at supplyhouse.com, where you can find real people and get real service. And where would we be without our good friends over at FanDuel, Mike? And look, the NFL season is here. FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet $5 that'll make you holler. Get $300 in bonus bets to win around the app. That's right. You pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, $300 in bonus bets to use, baby. And look, I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play the game. Like if you want to build a parlay, you want to do a player prop, you can even follow live lines during games. And I don't know what you're waiting for. If you go visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today, you too can get started. It's segment 2, and in segment 2, I crack a do, but no do for me. I'm off to do. I told you guys, we have moved to some diet dew, Mike, and water for me now. I've had to quit drinking Mountain Dew, my doctor said. So we don't crack a do in segment 2 like we used to, Mike, but we're cracking a water. All right. So, I'm going to ask you about a couple of players from UCF. I want you to give me some matchups as well. And give me a scale of 1 to 10 how worried West Virginia should be. This is a segment people have liked in the past.
Okay.
Give me a scale of 1 to 10 on how worried West Virginia should be about these guys. Let's start with Miles Montgomery.
Very worried. I would put the worry at a 7.
Ooh.
Miles is the lead back on this team. Now he split carries fairly evenly with Jay Nixon so far this year. But again, it's the big playability. He's a pretty good pass catcher out of the backfield. And if you're West Virginia, you have to stop the big Miles Montgomery play. And the teams that have been able to do it have definitely been able to take UCF down. But he is good for that one big 80-yard bust breakout. Here and there. I like Miles Montgomery. Scott Frost said a lot of really good things about Miles Montgomery coming into the season. But he is a part of what will make this offense go versus West Virginia. Again, in our segment that we recorded earlier today, we talked about, quarterback and how we don't want to see too much on the quarterback's arm. That means leaning on the running backs in this one. So Miles Montgomery is going to play a huge role, I think, in UCF's success in this one.
What about Lewis Carter?
Lewis Carter. Lewis Carter is dangerous. Now, our guy James Duncan over at Locked On UCF, love it. He's a big Lewis Carter guy. And look, man, he's disruptive. He is a disruptive force defensively for UCF. So you gotta like what he brings to the table there, defensively. But Lewis Carter, I would put your worry about him at like a 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Taven Jackson, the quarterback.
Taven Jackson will be the quarterback in this one. Cam Fancher ruled out.
Correct. I guess we should probably said that.
Yeah. Cam Fancher ruled out. But Lewis Carter, man, I'm telling you, that guy is just disruptive, man. He's going to get in there, and he's going to be a name that you're going to hear whenever they're talking about negative plays in this one. So, I'll put my worry for Lewis Carter at a 10. My
apologies. My next player is Taven Jackson.
A little bit of a controversial take here.
Okay.
He's the quarterback. 4?
Okay, that's fine. There's a reason Cam Fancher would have started this weekend, correct?
Well, so Taven Jackson is the guy we thought that would win the starting job coming out of camp.
Right.
And Cam Fancher won it. But then Cam Fancher played a quarter and a half and got hurt against Jacksonville State in game number 1. Taven Jackson comes in, plays well, saves the game, really. And we're like, okay, that's why we thought that he would win it.
Yeah.
He goes like 25 for 32 versus North Carolina. I mean, he's got the capability of running this offense from the pocket. Fancher, more of a improv run around kind of guy. Taven Jackson's going to sit in a pocket a lot more, but I can't say that he's been dangerous in conference play so far. I think we found out a lot about Taven Jackson in this one. For a defense that has given up some points here in Big 12 play, can he hit the open throws and finish drives? The offensive line has just not helped. Here's what I hate about Taven Jackson. This offensive line is giving up a ton of pressure. As a matter of fact, on the play that Taven got hurt a couple games ago, and then Cam Fancher got hurt in game 1, the offensive line just letting rushers run free at the quarterback, man.
Well, that could be a big thing in this game because West Virginia has some elite pass rushers. They really do. I just think they got beat up through the first. I mean, you got to go 5-6 games before a bye in this day and age where you just don't tackle as much as they used to. I think players get hurt easier nowadays, just my opinion. So I do think we were beat up and all that, but I mean, no excuses. You played really good teams, but this pass rush went away. I'll be interested to see after the bye week if Zach Alley, who obviously the only reason Oklahoma team won 6 games last year was because of his defense, which was top 30 in every category, comes over and has done, really good job through the first 3 games. And in the last 3 games, not a great job, but we believe in him for the future. We gave him $2 million for a reason. For a DC in the Big 12, that's crazy money. So, well, that's more like 1.8, but still. So, any other players I didn't mention, and what are some matchups you're looking at here?
Well, look again, talking about that injury report. So there's some big names out for this one.
Both teams, yeah.
Cam Fancher is out. Sincere Edwards, the edge rusher, is out in this one. Defensive tackle Horace Lockett is out in this one. Freshman tight end Caden Peening out, and then Jaden Williams has been out for a few weeks now, and then we have another edge, Josh Dorsenville. He's been out as well for a few weeks here. These are big names for UCF. These were, Jaden Williams, man, hurt. Not having him hurts. He's one of the better DBs in this league, and not having him hurts. Now on the questionable list, UCF is thin at quarterback. I can't stress it out. With Fancher out and Jackson coming off an injury essentially, but available in this one, backup quarterback Ja'Cory Brown is on the questionable list.
Wow.
And Your starting left tackle, Paul Rubel, is also on the questionable list for a offensive line that's been struggling. This is a big deal, man. I can't stress enough. This is a really, really big deal. So now on the West Virginia side, you guys have Nico and Jalen out.
Correct.
And this one,
Max Brown, the third string guy coming into the year, is also questionable. The thing about West Virginia and our guys is, luckily at least, especially with Khalil Wilkins, is we've had the BYU game and the bye week to kind of get ready with these guys, as to where UCF is like, you're still in the week-to-week grind of this, trying to adjust with all these injuries, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So I think that is advantage West Virginia, because I think we've been playing with the guys that we've had since the very beginning of the year, basically. I mean, Nico's been out for weeks and weeks and weeks. Jalen's played in one game, really. That's against Kansas. Max Brown has taken no snaps. So, it's really been Nico, Jalen, and then, the other two youngsters in Scotty Fox Jr. and Khalil Wilkins have taken sparing snaps here and there. Khalil Wilkins obviously ran it 23 times against BYU. He is very dangerous with the legs, but, we don't know what he is as a passer. Scotty Fox has looked so good this year as a passer, and we're excited about his future, the both guys. But I'm really, Ty Edwards is the big one that we, and Jaheim White obviously was a first team all Big 12 candidate coming into the year. We really had high hopes for him. And then Ty Edwards was the savior of the Pitt game. Like, we couldn't get the running game going. He's 6'2", 230 pounds, and has an incredible burst. He was just able to break tackles at the line of scrimmage and made Pitt eat their lunch. And this game, we're out without him, and we're down to basically similar situation to you guys at quarterback and running back. We are down to our fourth and fifth string quarterbacks. We're down to let's see, there's Jaheim White, there's Ty Edwards, Jalen Knighton, who transferred in from SMU, never even played. And then we haven't played certain guys for whatever reason. We're down to basically fourth, fifth, sixth string running backs too. So it's not great on offense for us. If you want to talk about real quick before we move on to somebody I think UCF should worry about, Cam Vaughn. If Cam Vaughn had a better quarterback, it's my belief that he would be one of the 2 or 3 best wide receivers in the Big 12. That's how good he is. He is one of the most dynamic, elite playmakers that I've seen come through West Virginia in a long, long time. But unfortunately, we just have, as you can tell, we've been so beat up and changing rotation to rotation quarterbacks. If you go watch the tape, he's open on so many plays. And when he does make plays, it's like, whoa. He's an elite player, and I'm worried that he's going to leave us. But, he was a freshman last year at Jack State, caught almost 60 balls, had almost 1,000 yards for them as a freshman, converted quarterback out of high school. He is very dangerous. So we'll hopefully see more of him this week. But, who's going to throw him the ball? That's the big question, Mike.
Yeah, look, I think that is – quarterback play on both sides is going to be somewhat of a worry in this one. But again, I give the edge to UCF here with Taven Jackson. Again, he took over a starter game 1. He played well in spots here. Scott Frost feels pretty confident that he had 2 guys that can do the job, and we've seen him do it. Now, like, where it may be a little unlucky for West Virginia this weekend was Fancher, while talented with his legs, Paul, he hadn't won a game as a starting quarterback at UCF.
Didn't he quarterback the Notre Dame win, though? When Marshall beat Notre Dame? Wasn't he the quarterback?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. But look, man, he's got – Fancher didn't have a win. Taven Jackson does have a win here as UCF starting quarterback, and I think he's the better guy for the job.
No, he wasn't.
And I think that he allows you to run more of your offense because he will sit in the pocket and try to go through his progressions and get the ball to the right guy. I've seen him throw some really good downfield balls at times. It's just a matter of whether they've got to come up with a version of this offense that helps cover their offensive line some, man. Like, I'm Going to see if there are more timing routes here where we can get the ball out of the quarterback's hands faster and over
Screens
the middle of
and
the
such,
field.
maybe.
Yeah, dude, just you have to get it out, man, because slow developing play action plays brings West Virginia's defense back into this, I think, and I hope that we do not see that on Saturday.
Yeah, West Virginia can get after the passer. That's the one thing they shouldn't have. Even against BYU, they hit him a bunch. I mean, they were in his face all day. West Virginia is willing to take the big play to sell out. That's what they do. It's like Engage 8 on Madden. I swear we do that play. It's crazy. Okay, after the break, obviously, a couple game keys and a prediction from the legendary Mike Gittens. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Mazda. We love talking about Mazda on here, man. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IHS top safety picks than anyone else as of August 2025. The new all-wheel drive standard is in every crossover SUV. And look, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. And like our players, we sweat every detail. Because when you make every move count, the impossible becomes irrelevant. Do that today with Mazda, and you can move and be moved. All right, we are back here with Mike Gittens, segment 3, Locked On Crossover with UCF, the host of Locked On UCF. He also has an Auburn channel you want to talk about really quick. Tell everybody if they want to see over there.
We don't have to talk about Auburn.
Okay.
Here.
All right. I always want to give you a chance,
We're all Big 12 here. I am having a blast. My 1 year with Locked On UCF was last week. So
awesome,
1 year with the company, man, and we've been having a blast just talking.
And
UCF
you took that over at 0 subscribers.
At 0.
So, correct. And you've gone over past 1,000.
Yeah, we're just under 1,200 subscribers right now.
So that's an amazing job, man.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, do us a favor, man. Go on over there and help push us over 1,200 right now.
Please do it. I mean, you guys follow the Big 12 anyways. The hardest thing about taking over a show or starting a show is that first 1,000 subscribers, in my opinion, because the 1,000 mark is kind of a benchmark gives you a little legitimacy when people see that. Right? It's just psychology. And then the more you grow from there, I don't know how much it actually matters as far as people taking it seriously or not, but Mike is such a professional. I doubt people even notice that he's at 1,000 subscribers and growing, so that's just my opinion. But yep. You're in press conferences with coaches. You really do this. So, not to say that I don't, but you're in the fire of it every day, and I just want to make sure people know that.
Yeah, we are when you're building a podcast from 0, we are trying to provide something to UCF fans that doesn't exist for UCF
Correct.
Fans, at least in the YouTube space.
Right.
Bringing those people to YouTube. I think one of the things I love about Locked On is when we do these crossovers, right? Like it is an opportunity for our fan bases to kind of come together and support each other, so that we can continue to bring as much good content to West Virginia fans and UCF fans as we can when these teams play every year. So again, I'm humbled and honored that anybody listens to us at all. And we don't take it for granted. You could spend your time doing absolutely anything. And so the 30 to 35 minutes you spend with us, we are grateful for. Just do us a favor, go on, hit subscribe and turn on alerts for the channel. And when you can, just, listen, turn us up, turn us on, and we'll make sure to give you the best content you get anywhere.
That's a great sales pitch. I might just clip that and use it, and I'll just cut me in saying West Virginia every time you say UCF. It'll be my face though. All right. In this game, okay, so we've kind of set the stage here. These are two very injured teams with rotational quarterbacks, brand new coaches that have returned to the programs to save it. Okay. Could be a developing rivalry, which we probably could have talked about a little bit more. If we both have it our way, we would like to see that happen because we're at least in this time zone together. And I think nobody really knows what's going to happen here. I think it could go a multitude of ways, but the data is the data. And a lot of that data does support UCF in this game. But what are your keys and prediction, Mike?
Look, man, the key for UCF here is run the football. Do not put the game on Taven Jackson's arm. Establish the run early. Start fast, because this team doesn't play well from behind. You've got to start fast in this one. I think that if UCF can get anywhere in the area of 200 yards rushing in this one, they're going to be okay in this game offensively. The game slows down for Taven Jackson when they're running the football, and he's a fairly dangerous runner with his legs himself as well too. But you need the balance of having that run game in there, so he's not sitting back there having to be Peyton Manning, right? It's not his game. You just want him comfortable running the football. And the offensive line has struggled, they have done much better in run blocking than they have in pass pro.
Gotcha.
So lean on the thing that works here, man, and I think you get out of here with the dub.
Interesting. I think for West Virginia, it's going to be, obviously, you just have to establish somebody as your quarterback, number one. I'm thinking Khalil Wilkins probably gets the start because he played at BYU, and there were some passes he threw that were beautiful that were actually, one of them was dropped. It would have been a dead touchdown that would have probably changed that game, to be honest. It would have made that game really close. But it didn't. So we had to figure out, what kind of passer he is. We just haven't seen, like you said, less than 30 dropbacks. And we need to know, because Scotty Fox has proven he can throw it around. And we know Scotty can run it a little bit too. Outside of that, I think West Virginia does have to establish the run as well, because that's just what Rich Rod does. And I think Cam Vaughn has to get involved and make some big plays in this game, no doubt. Last point would be, I think you have to heat Taven Jackson up in this game. Jamori Robinson, we gave you $1 million to come over for the American Defensive Player of the Year. You had a third-round NFL draft grade coming into last year at UTSA, at the end of last year, and you chose to stay in college for the money, which is what most people should do. I'm not criticizing that, but we need him to show up, man. I did a video because Zach Alley called him out in the media this week, and so we all want to see him play well in this game, and hopefully he does, because it's just tough, man, when you miss on guys like that are big time players. And I don't think West Virginia's missed on him necessarily, but it's time. It's time. So those are my keys, man. And I'll start first really quick on the prediction. I've said all week I've picked West Virginia to win almost every game this year except for one. On the road in Florida, I just have to go with UCF in this game. I don't want to. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to. Trust me. I don't want to. But, I mean, you have to be realistic here. West Virginia is down to its fourth and fifth string quarterback. It's down to its fourth and fifth string running back. You replace your top 8 offensive linemen coming into the year, and you've got 5 guys who haven't played together well yet. The only advantage you have coming into this game is you're coming off a bye. And coming off the bye in his career, Rich Rodriguez has been good. Outside of that, every other advantage points to UCF. They've got a better defense at this point in time, although we can stack the quarterback. The only way we get out of this game alive, I think, is if we heat Taven Jackson up, cause some chaos, maybe cause some interception or some fumbles or those kind of things. And then we have to capitalize on offense, which we haven't been able to do. And last thing is, you guys are able to keep teams like Kansas and Cincinnati in check. Well, goodness gracious, we're nowhere near those offenses. Are we going to be able to move it in this game? That's my biggest worry in the game. We were able to move it against BYU better than any other team this year, and that's because of Khalil Wilkins' legs. So maybe that'll make the big difference after a bye. We'll see, but I need to see it first, Mike. I've got UCF winning this. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think I'm going to go 24-17.
24-17. All right, so that's 24-17.
That's under your average.
Okay, all right, yeah. So, first of all, Paul, you're a gentleman and a scholar. I can appreciate the conviction that it takes to pick against your team, especially when you're talking about 2 teams winless in conference play coming into this one, right? So, at 24-17, man. That nails the under on this one. I think the over-under on this one is 46.5 points. it opened at 49.5 and actually moved it down.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a different take on this one. I think UCF scores in this game. And I think they get a little bit luckier hitting the big plays downfield. The way they dominated time of possession versus Cincinnati, I think they do something similar in this game, but more of those drives finish in points. And I think that results in a big win here. No disrespect to the Mountaineers. I just think that the Knights are a little further along in their year one. Let's build a foundation for what the rebuild is. And because of the gap that I think exists at quarterback, I'm going UCF 42, West Virginia 14 in this one.
Yeah, I know. I don't agree with that large of a margin,
Yeah,
but I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, it was
that
funny.
seems to be a little. I don't view you guys as I do Utah, BYU, and those teams in Kansas. Although you played Kansas really tough. If that ends up being the case, then I would probably look at you guys as like a back end Baylor type team with those possibilities. But I do think
there's a lot of talent here at the skill positions, Paul. If the
I meant to ask you about Day Farmer. Why has he not contributed?
Day Farmer,
the transfer from West Virginia at wide receiver, Rick Darius Farmer.
Yeah, just buried on the depth chart. He's just never like emerged from that depth chart here.
He was a freshman last year. He's a 4-star player, though.
Yeah, they brought in a lot of guys through the portal at wide receiver that they really liked, and those guys had a lot more experience and were just a lot further along.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, it was a name that just
got a couple catches on the year I saw.
Yeah, he's a
little fast guy.
I mean, guys like Domer Can and DJ Black and Marcus Burke just light years ahead of him at this point right now. And you need experience around your quarterback. You need experienced pass catchers with catch radius around your quarterback right now because they're struggling behind a line that is really not giving them any time to throw the ball. So, like I said, I think you got to lean on the run, but run blocking and pass blocking, two different things for this UCF offensive line. If they can lean on the run and they can dominate time of possession against a good team like they did versus Cincinnati, 20 minutes. Having the ability to be able to hold the ball for 20 minutes offensively versus one of the better teams in the Big 12.
Yeah, the way it gives you hope.
Yeah, it does. It gives me some hope that this one at home could be a little bit lopsided given the injuries on the other side. So, again, not meant to be disrespectful to West Virginia. This game gives
I don't think anybody takes it that way. Not disrespect. But I do think that we're a little better than that. We'll see. If it's that big of a loss, then I think, some of our fans are acting like they're going to start checking out, man. Like we need.
It sucks, though, because if you start Big 12 play 0-4, that is checkout territory for a lot of fan base. I'm telling you, man, I'm dealing with two fan bases now. That's as much as I'll say about Auburn in this one, right? I cover Auburn 0-3 right now in SEC play, and then you got Missouri coming up this weekend. If they lose that game, I wouldn't blame anybody for checking out.
Let me ask you this:
conference play.
Rich Rodriguez said in a press conference the other day, they feel like they can get to. We're going to be at full rev share. We've already shared that. We figured it out. But West Virginia is probably going to be somewhere around $10 million over the cap. In your opinion, a team like Texas Tech, they say spent $30 million with the cap this year. Do you think that places West Virginia in competitive territory? Because that's what they're saying. They're going to probably somewhere near that next year. This is off topic, obviously, but
you mean when you say $10 million over the cap, you mean they're spending $10 million over the cap?
Correct. Yeah, they're going to. Yeah, like the West Virginia came out last week and said, look, or 2 weeks ago, they said Rimbaker put out a statement and said, listen, we've kind of figured this out. The Board of Governors and the university are aligned, which a lot of universities can't say right now. Like I had John Kurtz from K-State. He said they can't agree on anything about this, and a lot of other Big 12 teams can't. But yeah, West Virginia, they've got the cap figured out for next year, and they've got an extra $5 million that they didn't spend this year. As long as they spend it for the next official year, there will be a portal, and then the official year starts in 2026, so that I can technically use it for next year and it won't count against the cap. So there'll be the cap plus $5 million, plus they're going to have somewhere close to $10 million in NIL to spend, which is, they're saying it's going to put us somewhere in the top 5 or so of the Big 12. Obviously, you can't really get close to Texas Tech and what they're doing right now. BYU has the church's money, and then Kansas has got basketball money. So like there are teams at the top that's probably not going to be able to spend. But I was just curious what your overall opinion is on. I've asked a lot of people about this week.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like the rev share number is not nearly enough of what you need to compete, right?
Right.
And that's not only your sport. So, yeah, I mean, if you've got 10 million over the cap available to spend, meaning that you have worked those deals so that they don't count toward your rev share number.
Right.
This is a big deal with the House ruling that said that third-party collectives could operate independently of the rev share university number.
Right.
It is a big deal. I mean, there are schools right now working massive NIL deals for 2026 where, again, checks are being written outside of that rev share number that they're using to offset the rev share commitments, which then frees that number. And what you're going to see in college football, I don't know if anybody has said this to you yet, but I hope I'm the first, is that the days of stacking top 10 classes, if they can enforce a cap number, may be over. And here's why. When you recruit a top 10 class, there's going to be a large number coming from that rev share that you're going to have to use on player retention over
Correct.
player acquisition. So there's going to be, quite frankly, there's going to be a cost to not only recruiting a top 10 class, but keeping that class on campus the next year.
Right.
And as you spend that number, it's going to be a takeaway from what you can use to go out and get new players. And I think that's how these caps help create parity in pro sports. Could we see that at the college level? So, yeah, I mean, it does absolutely put West Virginia in a very competitive territory, having that extra 10 million, because that could be the game-changing player that you need, the revolutionary player that you need, right? Like, I mean, we saw what happened with Nico at Tennessee, right? Where he was getting paid about $2.5 million from Tennessee. He said he wanted $4 million. Tennessee said no. I'm happy they said no. And then he went back to the market and ended up only getting 1.7 from UCLA. And I think they're like winless right now or something like that. They're not doing well.
They finally had a big upset over Penn State, but outside of that, they've had nothing.
Yeah, well, Penn State fired James Franklin. So.
Correct. Yeah, it was just a prelude to what was about to happen, but nobody knew at the time.
Yeah, I just think that the market at some point is going to self-correct.
Hopefully.
And it comes down to the same things, Paul. Can you identify the right players? Because you can spend just because you spend a bunch of money on a guy doesn't mean he's going to be good.
Correct.
Right? And do you have the staff in place to develop those guys once they get on campus? Do you have the offensive system in place that can take advantage of their talents to the max of their capabilities? All these things are still going to matter. It's not just going to be about how much money you can spend. Like, so for UCF, for example, they've got a kid in the wings right now, Kayan Archer. He was the only 3-star
I know who he is
to make Rivals All-American list. And, he's committed to UCF right now, and a lot of people passed on him, and he's racking up high school records as we speak, week after week. I've got an interview scheduled with him tomorrow, and he's committed to Scott Frost and UCF. And they've got him in a place where he's just like, look, man, if I play well, the money will take care of itself. Mike, I'm worried about being the best football player I can be.
Those are so rare to find, though, Mike.
He could be the find of college football next year, though. And so if you're Scott
I'll look
Frost,
into him a little more. I love stories like that.
Oh, me too. And, if you're Scott Frost, you got to focus not just on spending dollars, but on finding those kids who everyone else misevaluated. You're going to get them in a discount, but because you believed in him first, he's loyal to you. So I think, and then if you can win with them, the alumni will fork over the dollars to make sure that he stays on campus. So, but you got to prove that you know what you're doing with the guys that you have first. And that is, it's not just about how much money you can spend, man. It's about whether you are the steward over what you have that you need to be to ask for more.
Right. what gives me, and we'll go, but what gives me hope about this is Rich Rodriguez. One thing over his career can be true. He's proven an elite talent evaluator. So hopefully he can continue to do that, although this is different out of the portal. It's not the same thing as identifying high school players necessarily. I don't know if the skill set's the same or not, but to have the wherewithal to take a Pat White out of high school that was supposed to be a DB and say, I'm going to put you at quarterback and you're going to end up winning 4 bowl games, 2 BCS bowl games, and be one of the all-time leading rushing in history for a quarterback, or a Cam Vaughn and say he's a quarterback in high school and say, hey, you're going to be an all-league wide receiver next year. Those kind of things. I'm curious to see if he can continue that at West Virginia. But, dude, I appreciate you for coming on, man. We went over, but it was a fun conversation. Make sure you guys check out Locked On UCF wherever you go, because he does amazing work over there, and will continue to, I have no doubts. And don't forget, guys, Locked On Big 12, Drake Toll leading the conversation, man, really, when it comes down to it. It's the most exciting conference in college sports. We've got rivalries, we've got championships, everything in between. You can find Locked On Big 12 on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Part of your Locked On Podcast Network, we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, and UCF every day, every single day. We'll see you guys on the next one, man. Thanks, Mike, for coming on, brother.
Thanks, brother.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.